defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
Woo! It is a Detroit Lions game day. Legend Terry Foster. Everything has come down to this one game. You talking about a bye week?
Yeah.
For the
you know
playoffs.
what? This week,
number one.
Didn't this week seem like it was for 3 months?
It did.
It did. It went slow, and I'm gonna say some things that other people are not saying.
Talk to me.
This is a big game. This is the second biggest regular season game in Lions history.
Oh, the second. Tell me which one was the first.
First one.
Which one beats it?
Last game of the season, 2000. Lions lost to the Chicago Bears. Paul Ettinger, 54-yard field goal. Now, it's not the most anticipated game ever, but it's the biggest game in my mind because it brought the dreaded Matt Millen era. If the Lions win that game, they go to the playoffs. Matt Millen never steps foot in Detroit. But because they lost that game, man, the franchise went down the sewer.
I see what you're doing. I see that. And you know what? Because of the implications, because of what reverberated from that loss, I can understand. Now, if the Lions win today, does this vault to number one above that? Because right now, the second biggest game. I get that right now. But if they win.
But you know what? Big games don't necessarily mean positive. This team was trash for a decade. Then they brought in Quinn Trisha. So you follow up bad with bad. So, but no, you know why? It will not vault it because here's the thing. We are assuming that the Lions lose, they can't progress as a road team on all their games. Now, the last time I checked, if they do lose, they will have a 5-3 record at home, 8-0 record on the road. And as Dan Campbell says, we'll play on turf, grass,
landfill,
your mama's house. It don't matter.
You got one butt cheek and 3 toes.
Right.
Right.
I do have 3 toes and a butt cheek. No, I have 2 butt cheeks, so I'm in good shape. So, but dude, to be honest with you, I have been. Usually, I come in here and tell you what's going to happen. Damn it, I'm conflicted about today's game. I have no idea what's going to happen. I know they're going to score a bunch of points. It's not going to be 17-14 or something stupid like that. But I will admit that I've been like a lot of people that I look at the Lions defense and it scares the jabbers out of me. But what we tend to do last few weeks, we look at one side of the Lions but not the other. Yes, the defense is awful, but we don't put enough emphasis on how great this offense has been.
Yep.
So who cares if they win 67-65 as long as they win?
Exactly.
I suspect the defense is going to be a little bit better today because you're going to get Anzalone back. And anytime you say something bad about the Lions, they do the opposite. Every time they lose, this whole community goes nuts. And then they turn around and win. Now what you're saying is the defense is terrible. They can't stop a nosebleed. But that's when Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn and all the assistant coaches come up with something that surprises you.
There's a reason why these assistant coaches are considered 2 of the top head coaching candidates in all the NFL. And then guess what? There's also a reason why a lot of us here are not necessarily do we want them to leave? No. But do we know, behind them, we even have some good positional coaches that can step up and fill those coffers? Yeah, we do. I expect this coaching staff, realistically, to have an all-out day. When you look at what Aaron Glenn has continued to do, no matter what the deck of cards has been, the defense has continued to show up. Just period. You look at last year, even though you could see that certain individual wide receivers would go off, the Lions were still stopping the run. They were still containing the overall defense. They were still controlling the time of possession. They were still holding teams to 20 points plus or minus 3 every single game. And guess what? They were still winning with no back-to-back losses. They have not lost back-to-back games in 2.5 seasons, T. No matter what they've been given. And that's where, from a perspective of these coaches, I believe we have the advantage. If you just come in looking at, whoa, man, they got some injuries. Look, when we didn't have the injuries, it looked like this defense was going to be number 1 in the league. And Aiden Hutchinson was on his way to Defensive Player of the Year. But what we saw out of Aaron Glenn last year and what we've seen out of him, I'm not surprised at how we've seen Aaron Glenn be able to scheme. It's looked a lot like last year, just better. And I expect that today. If the Vikings come in here and they doubt this defense in our house in Detroit with these fans for 1 second, I believe it's going to be a mistake for them. And the ball hawks that we have, and I know we're going to break down the game, but those ball hawks that we have back there, man, Kirby, Brian Branch, even want to include Iffy. You know what? I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic for what this defense has an opportunity to prove, and it's going to be more of the same in my opinion.
Right, and I have a formula for the Lions to win. There's 2 guys that have to be the MVP today, and if that happens, they will win. Who? You ready for the 2 guys? Zadarius Smith.
Yeah. Hold on. Let us guess.
Oh, you
who
want to
the
guess
second
the
one
second
is?
one? Okay.
Yeah. Who do you think the second one is, Pete?
Well, he already said my first guess because he's doing incentive, by the way, today, too.
That's
well,
why I said stop.
He's doing
I was gonna say Z.
incentive. Yeah, he's doing incentive, Zadarius.
Ooh.
I believe it's 1.5 sacks or 2 sacks. He gets $500,000. So I agree with you, Terry. That was going to be my first guess. Is that Z is going to have a big game,
Right.
But the second one, Anzalone coming back is my second guess.
Ooh.
Not a bad guess.
I want to naturally say one of those secondary members, but I want to say Jared Goff.
I'm going to say Kirby Joseph.
Bam.
Here's why. And
Talk to me, T.
if the Lions are going to win, they're going to have to turn over the ball. They're going to have to get the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to, they're not going to go 3 and out or stop them on 4th down or something like that. They got to take the ball away. And Kirby Joseph is the guy that's doing that. Now, and he's getting no credit for what he's been doing. Man did not make the Pro Bowl, which I think is criminal.
Is he going to be pissed today?
Oh, you're going to be pissed. He's going to be bad. And the other thing, and this angers me, and Kirby Joseph probably doesn't give a flying flip, but he does not get credit for being a smart player. A lot of his, there's a couple interceptions where, he's back there and he catches the ball. But other times he is setting up the quarterback.
Thank you.
He's making the quarterback think that the route is open, that they're not paying attention to the route, and all of a sudden, bam, he's there.
Which is what he did last week.
Right.
Yep.
Well, he had 2 last week. One was a setup, and the other one he was just back in the, where he needed to be.
Right.
But I think Kirby Joseph, he's an athlete. Yeah, he makes spectacular plays. But this bro is smart. He's back there scheming. You can see like the little letters and numbers above his head.
He's back there scheming. I love it.
I believe that this team right now, they pair so well with their coaches. When you hear them talk about their coaches, you hear them say, it feels like Aaron Glenn is out there with us. And we already understand what people think about Dan Campbell. We've heard guys, even the new players entering this team like Zadarius Smith say, look, he gets it. We all know. Like people around the league know he used to be a player and that he gets it. When they were talking about giving him that bye week. Even though he wanted to play, the Lions were like, hey, look, man, just go home. Like, I get it. We'll pick you up. We're good. And I think that when you think about the confidence that you can have in your players when you have that type of connection, that to me is what's really propelling these guys, putting them in their best positions to succeed. And when you have that type of confidence as a secondary member, man, that to me is awesome. I called it like these guys are here playing chess. I love the fact that Kirby Joseph understands, okay, this is where Aaron Glenn's going to have me on the field, and that they give him the freedom and the flexibility to go out there and set up a quarterback. Oftentimes, you'll see Kirby sometimes make like a lunge. One of the interceptions, I believe it was on Jordan Love, he took 2 steps forward, and then one step back and was just right there. Like, the only way you could understand that is if, one, you're studying film, two, you know that you're that deal. How do you know that you're going to have that type of speed, that type of coverage, those types of hands, and he gets the interception? The picks in the end zone, same type of deal, where it looks like he's going to blitz, and then instantly he's actually back in coverage, making the interception. And it usually comes, and like you said, like the wheels are turning, it usually comes in those times where we absolutely need a stop. We've seen Carlton Davis do it. Dan Campbell came out of the tunnel and was like, yeah, we really need to scheme up something. We really need to get an interception or a turnover. And then as he's speaking, Carlton Davis gets the interception. So when you talk about Kirby Joseph, when you talk about that IQ, when you talk about the fact that his peers, not the fans, we are usually left out of the outside looking in because the fans and the popularity contest has left us off. No, these are like coaches and media and peers and other people who continue to drum up this narrative that he's getting lucky. I'm hearing this interception merchant. I'm hearing that he's just a dirty player trying to take out people's knees and all of this crap. When are people going to learn? When are people going to learn? He's not getting flagged out there. He's not getting fined out the wazoo. He's just winning.
When his picks come, using the fourth quarter. Because usually what happens is
checkmate.
The other team is clowning them or in position to win, but your better players make plays in the fourth quarter or late in the third quarter, or when it's time to decide the game, that's when your playmakers step up. And that's what Kirby Joseph has been. So that's why my two guys today have to be Zadarius Smith, pass rush, and Kirby Joseph, turn that ball over.
Yeah. Can I clarify one thing, guys? He is due the incentive that I said. It's $250,000 for 2 sacks today that Zadarius Smith needs for his $250K.
Ooh,
that's his 2 sacks.
He's not going to get 4 sacks today, but I think
he's just 2. He just needs 2.
I thought there was another incentive last week. If he got 4 sacks over the last 2 games, he gets $500,000.
I don't know about that, but
so
here is
2 layers.
Here's his. He's right there in like the top. He's listed at the top there. 2+ sacks, $250,000. As you can see, lots of different incentives are due for many different players throughout the for this Week 18 coming up.
Very impressive.
It's very, very helpful here also for the gamblers. Just be careful because, well, it is. I mean, because it's tough to bet. It's tough to bet Week 18. Like, who do I bet? Who do I throw in the parlays? Who's going to play? Well, these are the people that are, most likely going to get the ball if they do play today. But I just want, so Zadarius is owed $250,000 if he gets 2 sacks.
I want to parlay on a word, deserve. And maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but the way this season has gone, with the Lions being the best team in the NFC, they deserve that number 1 seed. This fan base, the stuff that they put up with for 6 decades, because I can already tell if somebody is young and without opening my eyes, they say, "Yeah, man, the Lions have been bad for 2 decades." No, they've been bad for 6 decades, bro.
Right.
Forever and ever.
Yeah.
And ever. So this fan base who's stood by them deserves this too. An easier path towards the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And they deserve to have 2 games at Ford Field. Deserve this.
2 games at Ford Field and give yourself an opportunity to really have another third home game, because you already understand if they make it to the Super Bowl, what Detroit is going to do at that time. Like, the way that this fan has supported this team over the last 2 years, I think it's just a good business decision for the script writers of the NFL to make sure that the Detroit Lions are there. Right. But they are good enough to get there, I believe, right now. Like you said, you start off the show with, like, some people are probably in panic mode over the defense, when in reality, this offense is one of the NFL's best, if not the best.
Yeah, you can't double team anyone on this offense.
That's true.
You can't double team Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, you can, but you can't.
You can try.
Yeah, you could try. And then people just come out of the woodwork. I mean, Sam Laporta can kill you. Jahmyr Gibbs can kill you in the backfield. Now, you don't have that hammer and nail with David Montgomery, but you can survive that. You can survive that because Jahmyr Gibbs is such a playmaker. Jahmyr Gibbs, I always go back to Brad Holmes when he drafted him. He said, "I'm not drafting a running back. I am drafting.
It's that W word.
Yeah,
Right,
a weapon.
There you go.
And that's exactly what he is. He's a weapon.
Who's the fourth leading receiver on the Detroit Lions? Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, okay.
He's a weapon. He is a weapon. And when you talk about how do you line up when you see Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, and this is where when you talk about that offense, I believe the offense has to pick up the defense by extending plays. Something that Goff and this offense were really good at, especially with David Montgomery, was getting those first quarter and sometimes those fourth quarter long extended drives, 8-minute drives, 10-minute drives, and controlling the time of possession all game. So even if Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson are hot, they're only going to get so many opportunities because our offense is going to make sure to take up, if not half, 2/3 of the time in every single quarter. And that's put this defense in a position, I believe, to be able to show just so much, to be able to set them up. They did this to the Vikings the first time, set them up late in the game for that interception and for those turnovers to be able to seal this thing. And so I expect this offense to utilize somebody like a Jahmyr Gibbs, whereas when he's lined up in that backfield, you don't know if he's running. You don't know if it's a play action to one of the wide receivers. You don't know if it's a play action back to Jahmyr Gibbs. All I know is every time he's back there, something works.
And here's something else you don't know. When he's got the ball, you don't know if he's going left or right or left, right. I mean, dude is
All we
quick.
know is jock straps fly.
Right. I mean, we know he's fast, but the dude is quick too. I mean, he will spin you around. Mm-hmm. And last time I saw anything like this in a Lions uniform was Barry Sanders, where he tricked people, and his jock straps are still laying out there at what used to be the Silverdome.
R.I.P. Goodness gracious. Hey, we put out a poll too, man, and we were asking people what stadium would they bring back? The Palace, the Joe, Tiger Stadium, or Silverdome. Silverdome, unfortunately, finished last.
And
surprise.
You know what? Next to last.
Yeah.
My least favorite former arena is Joe Louis Arena.
Wow. That one was one of the
dump. Red Wing fans deserve more than that piece of trash that they built on the river. I'm not even tall. When I used to sit in the stands, my knees hurt because I was so smashed up.
What a legend, dog.
And think if I was 6'4" or 6'5" or something. I mean, my kneecaps would probably be up in my eye. That made no sense. And the other thing is, the seats moved. They didn't have them screwed into the
well, that's true.
thing.
That's wild. That was wild.
A dump.
This is a dump. But now we got Ford Field, the site of Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings. And I'm going to be honest with you. All season, and you know what, chat family, I want you guys to be vulnerable with us as well. And just really quickly, too, shout out to our brother, Matthew Broder, the legend, filling in for him today alongside the legend, Terry Foster, and with our guy, the magical Pete, man.
Hey,
just
what's
let
up?
Pete cook.
It's good to be on the air with you, Kool-Aid.
I want to know where people are. Not do you think they're going to win? Because all season, I've been very confident on that. And I'll be honest, I'll give you the final score prediction later, but I do believe that they're going to win this game. But this was the first game this season where I woke up and I'm like, whoa, what is that? Whoa, I haven't felt this in a long time. A little bit of butterflies, a little bit of that nervous energy, and it feels good. But it's one of those things where it feels like it's game day. It's time. Big stakes, man. I want to know what you all are feeling as well. Be vulnerable. Y'all know all season I've been going to like blowouts. People thought I was crazy when I said we about to swack the Cowboys. People thought I was crazy when I was calling for us to go and sweep the Packers. But this is one where I do believe we're going to win, but there is just a little bit of nervous energy in there. I got to admit.
It should be, because we don't know what's going to happen. Now, everybody's making an assumption that Sam Darnold is going to turn into a turnover machine today. We don't know that.
I don't think so.
Don't know that. Because what we do with quarterbacks, we did it with Jared Goff, we do it with Sam Darnold, did it with Baker Mayfield. What that guy was 8 years ago, we always say that guy's coming back. Like Jared Goff, the guy that got benched in L.A., he's coming back. I ain't seen him. I haven't seen him since. Because he's not good enough to lead this team to any. Oh, bro. I got into an argument.
Talk to me.
On, what was it, Christmas? Yeah, I went to a Christmas party. And Christmas party, all I want to do is eat, drink. I don't even want to talk to anybody because somebody's going to say something stupid And then when they do, I usually keep my mouth shut, but I couldn't this time. This guy was talking like he knew the NFL better than anybody. He said, I don't like Jared Goff because he can't win the big game. So I said, well, dude's been to the Super Bowl. He went to the NFC Championship game, was up 2 scores, had the ball, threw a perfect pass to a dude who dropped the ball. So how can you say that? He says, well, he's not mobile. We always got to go back to this mobile
going
crap.
back to that crap.
Last time I checked, Tom Brady was not mobile.
No. And how many rings?
Surprise!
You have to be a good quarterback. Yeah, do I wish Jared Goff was running 4.2 40s? Yes.
Don't we all?
But you know what? But I'm glad, though, that he's, in my opinion, one of the highest IQ quarterbacks in the game. He's one of those quarterbacks where I've gotten very comfortable knowing if we have the ball last, that's game over. And you know what? Right. Think about it. It's everybody puts this whole weight on Dan Campbell as it relates to the decisions he makes to go for it on 4th down. But think about who is leading that charge. Every single 4th down they go to, the ball touches the center's hands and then Jared Goff's to make the right decision. And even in that NFC Championship game, which I hate to think about, even though it wasn't executed, he still put the ball on the money. Period.
That's true.
And that, to me, gets lost in the sauce, and why people always are so quick to try and dump Jared Goff or wait for just a bad game to happen so they can try and dump him. Think about it. The 5-interception game. They were so quick to try and drop him from the MVP conversation. I was like, I'm not doing that over one bad game. When this man has had perfect halves. They did.
He's behind Sam Darnold now as far as the odds
but that's
to win
trash,
MVP.
bro. He's had perfect halves, perfect games. How much of this defense has he had to pull this season? And that, to me, is the mistake that I believe a lot of these teams have made. You think about the Packers and how much they were yapping. Think about how much they were yapping. Xavier McKinney, after that last loss, he told Jeff Rieger straight up, like, I'm not talking no more, basically. Yeah, it backfired. I'm not giving him no more bulletin board material. And Jared Goff, he is maniacal, bro. Like, when I just kind of take a step back and I look at everything and just California kid who got dumped by his hometown, and for whatever reason, the magnetism of whoever he is, we got Kristen Goff going right now, has revitalized the Lions. I don't understand counting him out. Mm-hmm. He hasn't failed in Detroit. That's my thing. That's my thing. And look, he ain't rattled. I'm not rattled about it. I shouldn't be rattled about it. But it is one of the most mind-boggling things that this guy continues to go out there and outduel other people's favorite quarterbacks and literally win games against them. His record, even as a Lion, against quarterbacks that everybody said were better than him, I like his record. I was told,
you know what he's doing?
Jordan Love was better than him.
You know what he's doing?
You're told.
That I'm not saying it pisses people off, but it takes away the respect factor. He's basically taking what the defense is giving him. He's not trying to, force passes. He's not trying to go deep when it's not there, even though he does go deep. But he's just, hey, you giving me this 5-yard slant? I'm going to take it. You give me the 10-yard out? I'm taking it. You playing back? I'm going to hand the ball off. So that's what he's doing. Oh, and I got another thing to tell you.
Yep.
Oh. Shh. Don't tell anybody. But Dan Campbell is smart.
Really?
And you know what? I got something else.
Here's what he's doing.
Oh, you tell him first, and then I got something to tell him after.
Dan Campbell is figuring out a way.
Come close, y'all. Gather
get
around.
the ball with 6 or 7 minutes left, whether he's down 3, up 3, tied. Mm-hmm. He's not giving the ball back
At all.
That's true.
He's figured out a way for him to be on the field last.
And think about it, and you got a quarterback that can execute that. That's what I mean. To know, like, hey, we're going to have the ball last. That's a dub. To know, hey, it's 4th down. More times than not, that's a dub. And you know what? Gather around, guys. This is another secret. Jared Goff has a cannon. He can actually throw the ball down the field. That's what I'm talking about. Step in here with your more healthy defense and think that Jared Goff does not have a cannon. Think that Jared Goff is not going to get the ball down the field. Even on the one where J-Mo, the 83-yard touchdown, Jared Goff, the ball in through the air, officially it goes down, I think, as 53 from the line of scrimmage. But the ball in the air was like 60 yards in the air. On the dot, like J-Mo was like, let me catch up to it. That's where I'm just like, I'm not counting him out. I'm not counting him out. In a game like this is where I expect Jared Goff, and that's why I said I do expect Kirby Joseph to go out there and stand on his head today.
We talked about,
but this is one where I believe Jared Goff is going to go out there and find a way to really make an MVP type statement.
We talked about this on Armani Networks with Maz with Stick and Anson on Friday, and I brought up the point about because we were because we obviously Stick. We love Stick, and he loves Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff is his boy, so he loves to preach about how good Jared Goff is, and he should, because Jared Goff's a leader, so that's why we got into the conversation. And I brought up the point, how many times, you two, have you heard Jared Goff yell this season, kill, 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 when he's at the line of scrimmage? I mean, it's got to be like an average of at least 5-6 times a game that he is so smart. Not only does he get the play calls, and he knows what plays to run, obviously, he knows when the plays won't work, and he knows where to go. He knows, okay, do I run play number 1, 2, or 3 as an alternate when I yell kill, kill, kill? And that's what makes him a great leader on the field.
And just to piggyback on that, how Shaggy from Scooby-Doo vibes is he doing it? Usually if I'm seeing like kill, I'm like, guys are a little bit under duress.
And when he yells kill, kill, kill,
he's
guess
just
what?
cool.
He kills the opposition.
Exactly.
That play almost always works.
That's what I'm saying.
He's seeing something that's like, okay, this ain't going to work, but this other play is going to be rock solid.
And I saw somebody say that when you talk about, Cam Newton, of all people, former NFL MVP, said Jared Goff is approaching Brady-like territory. And it's things like that cool, calm demeanor that I believe is what really piqued people's kind of interest to sulking Jared Goff. Remember, after the 5-touchdown game, and they won, the next game he was going bananas, but was on the sideline just like, and people are like, man, what's the matter with him? Because I'm not used to that emotion. Like, I'm used to him fired up, or I'm used to him calm and cool. But when I saw that, it was just like, man, this guy is a robot.
Right.
That's what he's continued to be. It's so consistent. I can count on it. These people say, oh, Jared Goff has started the game right of 9. And I'm just like, just still thumbing through my magazine. Yeah. That's just kind of how it is right now with him. And man, I'm telling you, I really feel like Jared Goff is going to be one of those guys who's going to absolutely pick apart the defense and have a field day. There's some people who believe this thing is not going to be close. I believe it's going to be close. But I do believe Jared Goff is going to have his way. I do.
Yeah, no blowouts. I mean, both offenses are great.
Yeah.
And so just sit and
our defense is hot.
Yeah, y'all might need a little scotch or beer or something to get through this game.
That nervous energy.
Yeah, it's going to be nerve-wracking today. And you know who's could also be a big MVP today? Lion fans. You know who's worried about the Lion fans? Minnesota Vikings.
That's right. $2 million.
They bought $2 million in tickets for today's game.
1,900 tickets in total.
Yeah, they trying to mute the crowd a little bit.
Oh, man.
But you know who else wanted to do that? The Buffalo Bills fans, but they couldn't afford it. I was hanging out with some Buffalo Bill games before the Buffalo Lions game, and they said they came here to take over Ford Field. But once they saw tickets was $700-800, they're like, we're just watching the bar. We good. Too rich for our bones.
Man, you know what? And it's funny because you don't hear those types of stories about the Detroit Lions faithful because One Pride, they just handle business. That's why I said it behooves you, NFL, to you know what? The Detroit Lions, they're looking like a Super Bowl team from all perspectives, all sides. Our fans travel well. Our fans cheer well. Our fans will treat your city nice. Hey, look, you guys came here for the draft. We treated everybody else nice, and we set a draft record. And so, man, oh man, these Vikings, they're really trying. When I saw that, when you boil it down, it comes down to like 2,000 to 3,000 tickets overall. I don't know what they're expecting that to do. But I know this. One Pride, it's not just in the arena. You're going to hear them everywhere. Yep. Like being a part of this now, being a part of Woodward Sports, and we've been right Johnny on the spot, man, and it's kind of seeing this Detroit Lions rise. We hear fans everywhere through the city, everywhere through the burbs. I think that this is going to be one of those types of occasions. And I think I saw somewhere, too, that the Vikings, they got a celebration planned for the city of Detroit, too. I saw TMZ post something about that. I'm just like, man, are you serious?
Like, a celebration if you win the last game of the season, that's not a championship. That's ridiculous. That's small town. That sounds like something Detroit would do like 30 years ago.
Vikings. But you know what, man? We talked a little bit about Weapon X, one Jahmyr Gibbs. And Craig Reynolds behind him, Jamar Jefferson as well. These guys have honestly stepped up and filled that role. Craig Reynolds in the week before put up, I think, 66 yards total from line of scrimmage, which was very David Montgomery-like. Over 4 yards a carry, and also put up 20, 30 yards out the backfield and was a reliable target for Jared Goff. When you're looking at this running back room, is that the at least the focus unit on offense you believe is going to be the MVP for this game? Or is there another player or another unit that you think is going to be that
I already told you my
offensive
MVPs, who they have to be. Zadarius Smith, Kirby Joseph.
But offensively, though, who do you
Offensively,
where is the muscle? Where's the power at today? What is the strategy?
I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the muscle until Montgomery comes back. He is, to me, here, you're Mr. Piston, right?
Yeah.
You know what Jahmyr Gibbs is?
Who?
Rip Hamilton back in the day. Energizer Bunny.
I like that.
Kept things rolling. Didn't get as much credit as he deserves.
A lot tougher than people gave him credit
Right.
for.
Right. Because we were, Jahmyr Gibbs, he can't run between the tackles. Remember that?
Oh, he can run between
Well,
the
he
tackles.
can run between the tackles.
Good
Is
things
he
we-
durable? Yep. Seems durable to me.
Lots of
Can
Sonic
break
coins
big
between
plays.
the tackles.
He's a playmaker. To me, that's the guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy. I mean, last week he had 150 plus yards.
Yeah, I'm
total?
gonna get but there's a lot of gold coins to collect between the tackles.
A lot of gold coins. Yeah, because
The
that's
Sonic
thing.
coins.
When,
Yep.
when you look at all the mouths that there still are to feed on this Lions offense, that's why I wanted to be able to ask that question. And it's cool to see Jahmyr Gibbs stepping into this stardom. And it was able to be ramped up according to their vision. Remember when we were all like, "Look, didn't we give up capital to be able to draft this guy?
Right.
Didn't we pass up on a Bijan Robinson? You remember how people were around that draft and they said, look, we're going to bring him along at our own pacing.
Yep.
He is a weapon, but it's not going to be based on what you guys think.
He's got 2 100-yard games in his last 2 games, averaging like 20 and a half carries.
That's 100-yard
and he's
rushing.
got two touchdowns, a total of 2 touchdowns, 1 per game. So
Yep.
he's just
How much receiving the last couple
Yeah,
games?
and he's 5 catches 2 games ago, 4 catches last week. He's 45 yards, 46 yards. It's just ridiculously good.
Yeah, he just has to be the target. Like, as much as I love Amon-Ra, and I know he's going to ball, and J-Mo and those guys,
They're going to ball today.
Jahmyr Gibbs is just proving to be something completely different. And you talk about a team that has to do something to really make up for the losses on defense. Think about it. Jahmyr Gibbs is presenting something, in my opinion, a little bit different than they've really had all season. And now you're getting it with the volume as well. A few more carries here and there, giving him this opportunity to hit the home run. Because as much as I love David Montgomery, and we know he's going to get you that solid 4 and 5, and he's been shown now within this Detroit Lions offense, even punched a home run a couple times. Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy, when you get him that ball, and the more opportunities you give him, now we're seeing it, the more opportunities you have to just go out there and get chunk yards. Didn't he average over 6 yards a carry last week?
That's
well,
yes.
I thought he wasn't tough. I thought he couldn't run between the tackles.
That's what I heard.
A lot of gold coins
And
there.
you got to believe what people tell you. But if you're getting 6 yards on first down,
Yeah.
you don't have to do much to keep the ball. You got to average 2 yards on the next 2 plays. And for Dan Campbell, he's going to go for that third play.
Right.
With Dan Campbell, I know there's a lot of people who they want him to be so much more reserved as relates to these 4th down calls. I can't believe he's still getting flack about this type of stuff, because as a coach, I believe that he should already have this Coach of the Year award wrapped up. People are still trying to put KOC in that race. I believe that what Dan Campbell has had to overcome this year with basically his entire defense, and 23 players have hit the IR that have been contributors or were supposed to be contributors on this team. That to me already, and you're sitting here with a chance to be number 1 seed overall, tells me that he should already have this wrapped up. But he's been this narrative buster, Dan Campbell has been. You talk about the loss that plunged us into the Millen era. Dan Campbell has absolutely been the eraser to all of that. The Patricia stuff, the Millen stuff, the losses, the stench of even being a Lions fan. When we go places, like especially when I went down to Summer League to Vegas, do you know how many people were probably wearing their Lions jerseys? And I didn't see that. I would go
Thousands.
I used to go to school out on the East Coast. You would see your Go Blue. I would see Pistons because they were hot during that time. And they had some connections out to the DMV as well. And Rip went to UConn and such. Lions gear? No. Not at all. I even know people from Detroit who weren't trying to rep Detroit out there. But now I go places, go down to Alabama. I'm like, yo, you a Lions fan? Oh, no, I just. Oh, he was a Jahmyr Gibbs fan.
Oh, it was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, but he was like, but we are now. Like, man, yo, we rock with y'all. It's awesome to see kind of how Lions fandom is coming back. And it's been because of, and I got to make sure I credit Sheila as well, Queen Sheila Hamp. But what Dan Campbell has been as that first hire, even before the GM, and being able to be that culture guy for the players overall, man, and for this organization. He's not just like a player's coach. He stands out there as a symbol for all Detroiters. How many Detroiters live by that aspect of grit and the aspect of the words that he's talking about? It doesn't matter where we are. How awesome is that very first press conference? How awesome is his pleas?
Right, and the other thing is, a lot of people here in Detroit, when they go to work every day, I bet you they're hoping that the opening meeting is being run by Dan Campbell, because they will be ready to work
now. And that's the point of calling your shot and just going to work. Not coming in and putting the pencil behind your ear. Not coming in and trying to tout that you're a rocket scientist and this, that, and the other. Not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Not trying to be buddy and this, that, and the other, because his friends, he's had to fire his friends. He's just come in and wanted to win. When you go 0-16, that's got to haunt you as a professional football player. That's got to haunt you as somebody who loves the game. He did that here in those black jerseys that he said, you know what, I got another narrative to bust. I need those. And now they're wearing those. I believe those are the jerseys they picked for today's game, the Motor City Muscles. That to me is ironic, and I freaking love like Dan Campbell. I just do. I do. I know that there's been other coaches along the way that deserve, but this is one that I don't know, just personification wise. I just relate, man. I really do. And to see his team be able to not just relate and not just be healthy and play good, but to go through this adversity. And now you're not just overcoming. No, you're kicking tail. It's almost as if this is where we are. We know there's no, even though we can have hope of people coming back, that's just not where we are right now. We got to win right now. Who are we right now inside of here? No matter what we're facing, who are we? And that's what rings true when you hear Dan Campbell step up and say, we just got to win this game no matter what. Before, when I heard him say that, it was like, yeah, but we didn't go at the trade deadline and get a defensive end last year, right? But this year, it's just like, who's going to doubt him? Who's going to doubt him now? I'm not going to doubt Dan Campbell.
Nobody.
At all.
And here's the other thing is, I'm not giving up on the season if they lose today.
Please don't.
Break that down for us. Paint that picture.
The
people
Lions will have to go on the road. I'm going to guess probably to Tampa.
Yes, that's the game.
Maybe L.A., maybe Philadelphia. They can win those 3 games. Because we forget they're unbeaten on the road. They will use that as a motivation. This team uses motivation better than anybody I know. Oh, you doubt us? Okay, here we go. Oh, we got to go on the road? Cool. We don't care. You think we can't beat Minnesota at home? All right, we'll show you. Shoot, they might win by 2 touchdowns. Who knows? But this is a team that is special. Now, I want to see if they can become great. And I think they can do it with 3 road games. I'm tired of doubting the Lions. I'm tired of doubting Brad Holmes. I'm tired of doubting Dan Campbell. You just never know. Because if they lose today, the crescendo in this town is going to be so loud. You done. You can't do it. They're going to hear it on radio. They're going to hear it in the streets. They're going to hear it all over the place. And that's what motivates this team. It's crazy.
You're preaching right now, though.
How things are. And yeah, you brought up uniforms and jerseys, what people were wearing in Vegas. Let me tell you how bad it was, at least in the Foster household 20 years ago. It was sports jersey day at my son's school, and we laid out a Lions jersey there for him on his bed. I heard this blood-curdling scream, "No! My uniform stinks." So I was thinking, we must not have washed the thing, and it smells bad. So I go up there. He's crying. He doesn't want to wear a Lions jersey to
Wow. Oh, no.
That's how bad it was.
Aw.
Then I said, well, just do it this one time. Can you? And so he wiped away his tears, wore the jersey.
Poor
was
little
pissed.
B.
But like me, I refuse to wear Lions stuff. I never bought any Lions stuff. And then a friend of mine, we were in Dunham's, and a friend said, you got to get one Lions thing. I said, no, I'm not buying it. So they bought it for me. Bought me a sweatshirt. So I wear it on. I actually like the sweatshirt. And so I wear it now and then, even before they got good. But I'm like, I'm not wearing this junk. No way, no how. Win a playoff game. And they did that, so it made it easier.
Mm-hmm. Man, when I think about just how much they've changed, just how people see this team. Look, my family and I, we love shopping at thrift stores, right? And my son,
It's the only way to go.
all he knows, think about this. All he knows is the Pistons are bad and the Lions are good, which is crazy because all I knew were the Pistons won championships and the Lions were bad. So we're in there. He just knows the colors. He's in there. He's like, Dad, can I get this jersey? Yo, it's a Lions jersey for $1. I'm like, yeah, let's. Oh, Ebron, no, son.
Oh my
no.
God.
But that's the thing. That's when I
$1
tell you
get
the
you two.
stench is gone
Right.
from the Lions to the point that he's running up and just, I just want the colors. I want the logo, and don't even understand the association to what we used to be. And it's an awesome thing underneath, obviously the guidance, the direction, and honestly, the proper delegation of Sheila Hamp. Hey, I'm going to bring in the right minds. I'm going to cut the checks. I'm going to back up. I'm going to show up sometimes. I'm bid for my owner's box, and I'm going to enjoy it. Her face at the Bears game, dog.
Dude,
Like, Pete, you got the same look. Like, all of us. Like, we were trouncing them. And just to be able to be up there, because think about how many games she probably saw in those same positions growing up, because I know you talked about her perspective of, honestly, being more like us as fans than in the business side of it. Now she's in this position, and just see her elation was just like, that's where we all are.
Yeah, the most important thing she did is she hired people who she thought would be successful, backed them, and then backed out of the way and not make decisions. You hired football people, so why should you, like Jerry Jones,
Hands off.
like her dad,
Right.
be able to make decisions
Hands
on
off.
personnel?
Hands
Made
off.
no sense. Her dad, William Clay Ford, had to be one of the worst owners, period. And what he would do, the general manager might say, you know what, we need an edge rusher. And then Ford would say, hey, I sure could use a quarterback. I want a quarterback in here so I can put some fannies in the seats.
All right.
That's what ruined the Lions. How can ownership ruin a team? That's how. What Jerry Jones is doing in Dallas, that's how.
Yep.
Stay out the freaking way. That ain't your job.
Hands off.
Your job is to cut the check. Your job is to make the stadium look nice. Your job is to make sure that there's acoustics in the arena so everybody can hear. Put out a nice scoreboard up so everybody can see what's going on. And then when it's time for personnel, shut up.
Yeah.
Stay out the way.
Yeah, and
That's
that's what
correct.
makes it really awesome, too. You see her in the locker room sometimes for some of those victory speeches and such, and we've had a lot of those over the years. You see her out there on the field celebrating. You see her kind of, I remember last year after we won the North, just kind of just walking out of this door and running in the damn Miller with the, we are the, North shirts. It was just like, or we won the North shirts. It was awesome, man, to see. And I do, I like being able to call upon some of those memories, especially because we have a game like that today against the same team. It was against the Vikings last year that we clinched the North. And it was in their home. This time we have an opportunity in our own home to not just go undefeated. Obviously we went undefeated on the road, but we get the opportunity to actually sweep the NFC North division at 8:20 tonight on Sunday Night Football.
And by the way, the toughest division in football.
That's right.
What does that say about the Lions? If they sweep the division, there's no question the Lions are going to the Super Bowl.
This game.
You already swept the toughest division in football. What's that say about you?
Think about how much better the Packers' record would look right now, even if they just simply split with the Detroit Lions rather than gotten swept. I love saying that.
Sorry
Just
about the
broom
glare
cheese
there,
heads on
Kool-Aid.
I love the sun. It's just out right now.
I
for
think
the
it's
Detroit.
coming
Let me
from
put
the
a logo
right.
there.
No, I think it's coming from the right.
It's right there.
Oh, it's from
for
that
Detroit
one.
Lions, man.
Oh,
That's
man.
where I'm at, and I'm on that. I'm on that type of energy right now. When you look at this game right now, where is your concern level with the defense today? Obviously, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones. This Minnesota Vikings offense has been formidable this year. Even though the Detroit Lions do have one win over them already, the Vikings did get off to a 10-0 start. 10-0 start last game. I don't know if this version of the Lions defense can sustain that this time.
Today. I mean, you could because that offense is so crisp, but I wouldn't recommend going down 10-0 against this team. I don't care where you're playing. But, yeah, my concern about this defense is really high because I just saw San Francisco just do whatever they want.
That's where I want to know, hey, chat family as well, where is your level of concern at with this Detroit Lions defense today? For me, I do believe it's going to be one of those Aaron Glenn masterclasses. What does that mean? It's a game where it feels like, you know what, we're getting trounced. It's a game where everyone's like, man, what's going on, TA? Man, there's another flag. It's a game where it just feels like, yo, y'all letting Sam Darnold get 30 rushing yards on you guys. And then we look at the end of it, and it's like, oh, we held them to about 24 points.
Right.
Oh, snap. Okay, it wasn't really that bad. The things that we're able to do after 4, 5, 6 games of thinking, man, Aaron Glenn, do this, and then you look back at all the numbers and you realize, oh, well, he has the top half of the league defense right now. Think about it. He lost Aiden Hutchinson and so many other people, and that defense was still like top 10. So I expect that to ring more true today, even though we may see some individual performances that make us bang our head on the wall.
I think we should stop fooling around. If I can add something in here real quick. I mean, I don't mean like fooling around isn't a bad way, guys. All I'm saying today, this game is going to be fast and it's going to be a bloodbath. These two teams are going to try to kill each other today, guys. You're going to see playbooks completely empty. We're going to the back pages of these playbooks, man. I mean, just when you didn't think that we're going to be having Dan Skipper start throwing passes now you're probably going to see, I don't know, Frank Ragnow throw to Dan Skipper. You're going to see a bloodbath today. I think Terry probably knows what I'm talking about. It's just that one of these games, Kool-Aid, from back in our generation, dude, when these teams used to play on baseball fields with mud and all that sort of stuff, this is the type of games where uniforms will be torn, people are going to be bleeding. This is going to be a bloodbath game, Kool-Aid. I hope you're ready for it, my friend.
And you do bring up something because we talk about the concern for the defense, and obviously there is some, but that's where I think all of us have said the offense is going to be what picks it up. Is that the strategy? Go out there and you press, BTA, pedal to the metal, and we're just going to go out there and it's the first to freaking 42 points wins? Or is it that control the time of possession? Because I could see,
the chess game is over. Chess is done.
Possession, which has worked for Dan Campbell.
Time to play checkers. Chess is done. It's time to play checkers, baby.
Now, the time of possession could be key.
I think you got to do the time of possession. He thinks just go out there and speed race.
That's right.
You got to break the tie. What is the strategy on offense?
He's a little fun dude. He likes
Go speed racer.
He likes
Did you
to
bet
play.
the over today?
Oh, without a doubt, we will be getting to that parlay coming up in the pregame show. Trust me. Go ahead, Terry.
He's that little kid with a little stick that likes to play in the mud and make little designs and stuff. That's what Sneaky Pete is.
I think this is going to be one of those, you know what, every time Jahmyr Gibbs touches the ball, it's at least 5+ yard type of things. Obviously, there's going to be a couple plays where it looks like he's running into the line or he loses 2 or 3. But ultimately, with how the Lions utilize all 4 downs, they have that down to be able to kind of burn, and they know, all right, Jared Goff, we need you to pick up the first down. Who are my targets? Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, Tim Patrick,
Dan Skipper,
J-Mo, Dan Skipper. Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell, there you go. There's another target.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell's a passer, man.
Oh, that's
and
right.
a catcher.
He's
Remember,
quarterback.
what was it, last year when he caught a pass?
That's right, last year. Good call.
Dove for the first down to kind of
He's no longer a right tackle. He's a weapon.
He's just
Skipper's a weapon.
Right.
the thing is this, though. They do have the option to do both. We've seen when they've had to go out there and put the points up and be in a shootout, they've done that. They've won games like that. They've lost games like that. The Bills game they lost. The Chargers game last year they won that way. But this is one where I do believe limiting how many times Justin Jefferson can get an opportunity to moss your team, I believe that better. And then when I just kind of went back and I looked at some of the games and some of the highlights of Sam Darnold, you notice that some of their success comes from the ways that the Lions try to utilize JMO. But Justin Jefferson gets so much more attention that the defense are generally looking at him, shading their coverages too. And then you see one of the secondary receivers or playmakers getting a big gain or getting a big touchdown. What the Lions choose to do is like the 0-4 Pistons. Underneath Aaron Glenn, let's go back to that reference. Their defensive tactic has almost been, even though they don't have the Ben Wallace in the cornerbacks right now, they've still said, hey, your job is to just be one-on-one with this guy, and we're going to make sure that nobody else is really going to lunch. That's why we typically can look and we can see, well, they bottled up the running back. Well, they bottled up really all the other wide receivers, but this one wide receiver went off. Well, because realistically, the Lions, I believe, they play those numbers, and Dan Campbell has said it. They realize more times than not, we're going to win those games. You're going to throw it to this guy 400 yards because Jared Goff is getting 400 yards. Is that what you're going to do? And what it does is it forces teams, when you look at the Lions versus the Vikings, the way the tape looks different is they just are like, what the frick ever? Justin Jefferson, if you go throw it to him.
Yeah,
and then
Justin Jefferson's going to clown him today.
He might, but then what winds up happening is when Aaron Glenn switches late in the game, you think you're getting man coverage. How did they get that interception last year with Ife Melifonwu? They switched it to a zone coverage at whatever look Nick Mullins thought he was seeing, it wasn't. Sam Darnold this year, whatever look he thought he was seeing, and it looked like, they talked about it, looked like he was seeing man coverage, and all of a sudden, boom, your safety got you. I expect that type of stuff today. And that's the thing. No matter how depleted the defense is, they're still very versatile. As it relates to the schemes and executing the schemes that Aaron Glenn is able to dial up, that's confusing even the best of quarterbacks in this league. I believe they're going to get Sam Darnold for at least one today.
Okay, I said they need to get him for two. And I was talking to Lion fans. Why don't the Lions play zone? They are playing zone. They play a lot of man, but they play zone in the second half of games.
They do.
Mm-hmm. So it must be so good that you don't even recognize it as happening.
Yeah, think about when Kirby got the interception. Was that last week? Not the one when he was just sitting. Even the one when he was sitting back. That type of coverage. Some people say, "Man, why did he just throw it to him?" Usually the quarterback sometimes might not see the safety if he's ducked down, and he thinks he just has the space to overthrow. It was perfect that Kirby was just sitting right there in that spot, almost as if they knew what play was on the way. But the second one was one where he had to get in there and really, he took the pass away from the wide receiver, and they were in. If you look at that coverage, they were in the zone, and it was perfectly played, perfectly read, perfectly set up. And what makes me confident that they're going to get at least one, and maybe that two, like you said, is every time I see one of these highlights, and it's a lot of them from our secondary, it looks the exact same way. They're manufacturing turnovers. They're not just getting lucky. They're not just kind of being at the right place at the right time. What we've seen with most of Kirby Joseph's interceptions is him going out there and being a ball hawk, or him going out there and setting up the defense based around the schemes that Aaron Glenn is putting them in. And I expect a lot of that type of stuff today.
Okay, now, earlier in the show,
yes, sir,
your feathers are a little bit ruffled because you don't think Jared Goff gets enough credit.
Yeah.
How are your feathers now that Kirby Joseph didn't make the Pro Bowl?
I looked into the camera on Wake Up Woodward, and I told the people, thank you guys, peers, coaches, media, all of you all who want to continue to give this Detroit Lions team that type of bulletin board material. Think about the biggest game of the year for the Detroit Lions, the biggest regular season game, and you need your stars to step up. When you talk about even looking at like a Michigan team last year, when you look at this Lions team, what has been the identity down these stretches? Even though we could talk about, Tim Patrick, he stepped up and played. No, but we all have the lasting memories of like Amon-Ra making the big catch. Penei Sewell going out there last year making a catch and a dive. Or Jahmyr Gibbs going to icing, or Jared Goff. That's what we remember. And you know what? I expect Kirby Joseph to now have this extra motivation. I expect the team to have a little bit more motivation. Not that they weren't going to play all out before, but it's like this team has already let the league know, we hear your bulletin board material, and we utilize that bulletin board material, and we beat you in the face with that bulletin board material. What did he do as soon as they beat the 49ers? He went and trolled. Bro, we were talking about this on the show during the offseason when they had the little signs. Remember the little 49? And what we were like, when he picked up the Rams one, he was like, I got one for y'all. Picked up the 49ers one. He said, and you looked at those teams, and what did he do after each one of those? He got interceptions in each one of those games. The ones where he picked up the signs and said, yep. And then he trolled each of them after, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Tucker Kraft thinking he can, if I see him, I hope we run into each other and I can put my hands on him so we can, and then stops, right? Finish your statement. If you're gonna call out another man, finish your statement. What did Kirby do? He met him on the field, intercepted your quarterback, met you on the field, beat your team. I barked at you. You were sitting there looking like the kid in the meme with the little cup, like that. That to me is what Kirby is. He's not just a ish talker, a trash talker. We know what CJGJ was. And even though he's having some sort of a renaissance this season, last year, it was a lot more bark than bite. But with Kirby, I believe his bark is developed because he's biting. That's it. And people are crying. Players are crying. Not the league. The league, in an era of safety, you don't have the NFL crying, but you have football players, grown, professional NFL football players crying about Kirby Joseph, bro.
Well,
I think he's going to show out today.
Happen tonight?
He's going to show out.
Some voters are going to be watching this game, and they're going to say at the end, damn, I didn't vote for this dude. What's wrong with me?
He's not a first alternate. He's a second alternate.
Second
alternate. So I didn't see who's in front of him. He's third on the list, technically.
Wow.
Technically, that makes him third on the list.
Which means if he wound up making it, it's going to be him watching probably cornerbacks from teams.
2 injuries or 2 people, who is he from the Eagles who got in ahead of him? Whatever. But anyway.
That's such a slap in the face.
One of the things, I heard people didn't want to vote for him is because they think he's a dirty player. That's what I mean. I just don't see that.
The players are crying. The league is not finding him. The league is not flagging him. But you got players crying because we're beating them to a pulp.
Right.
Think about what we just did. Like, I was sitting here so fixated on the fact that we were like 7-1 in the last 8 games against the Packers that I didn't know we were 7-1 in the last 8 games against the Vikings.
Right.
These teams are getting beat by the Dan Campbell era, and they're mad. They're mad. Like, that's the point. And I can understand if the fans want to do it, but now that we have multiple clips of players doing it,
right?
Like, we're in the middle of a game, Matthew Stafford.
Right.
A playoff game.
Playoffs.
And you're choosing to run up to me on the field in the middle of a game and try and tell me I'm dirty. I'm in your head. Rent free. That's what that is.
Here, Kool-Aid. Yeah. There's the list. Look at the 4th name there. Safety, and look, second alternate. Not first alternate. Second alternate.
That's crazy. I do gotta ask you this though. Your final score prediction, Mr. Terry Foster.
As I said, I'm conflicted about this thing. I keep going back and forth, but the Lions in situations like this always come through. They're being doubted. The defense is going to be better than it was last week. They get Anzalone back. They might get David Montgomery back. Who knows? But I just think that Dan Campbell's going to figure out a way. He'll probably be down 3 points or tied. He's going to get the ball with 6 minutes left. He's going to run that clock down and either get a last-second touchdown or last-second field goal to win this game. I'm going Lions 37, Minnesota Vikings 34.
37-34. Hey,
I'm going to save mine for the pregame show if you don't mind.
That's right.
But real quick, before you end the show, can I throw out our 2 super chats and now make that 3 super chats if you don't guys if you don't mind. Yeah. James was first today with $4.99. Thank you, James. A mobile QB is like the kid that cheats on his math homework all year and has an A, then fails the final exam. So that is from James, $4.99. So he's right on that one when we were talking about the mobile quarterbacks earlier on. Dante151. Thank you, Dante, as always. You're one of our most treasured fans here at the station. Really appreciate you. $9.99.
You're so sweet.
Well, he
treasured.
Well, he is.
You didn't say he's a good fan. You didn't say he's one of your favorite. He's treasured.
He is treasured.
That's cute.
We do. I like Dante. I think Dante always has great things to say, so I always appreciate Dante. Shout out to Cade and the Pistons on beating the Timberwolves last night. One team from Minnesota is down, and one more to go tonight. FTV, Sam, I see ghost. Donald will throw 2 or 3 INTs tonight. There you go, Kool-Aid. There's Dante, 151. And then Rando Smalls, another really good, wonderful fan here of Woodward Sports. We really appreciate Rando Smalls and his $5 super chat. Come on, T-Foss. We from D-Town. How can we not be the bad guys?
Yeah, I guess.
There's our super chats, guys. Thanks,
All right.
Kool-Aid, for the time.
I think that this is going to be a 34-27 game.
Okay.
This is one where down the stretch, Jake Bates puts us up 34-24, pushing us to a 10-point lead. And the Vikings, they have just enough time, they think. All right, we got to kick the field goal to put points up on the board.
Right on.
Which gets them to that 24-27. And then they give the ball back to the Lions. And what does Jared Goff do? He does exactly what you've been saying. 4 or 5 minutes on the clock, you're not getting the ball back, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting the ball back. It's
See
game
ya.
over. We're going for every fourth down. We're every Amon-Ra St. Brown for every critical first down. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to make sure that he keeps that clock in his legs churning. And I expect this Lions team to win this game somewhat close, relatively, 34-27, but one in which this Lions team, they dominated the Vikings.
I like that.
And I think this town deserves that. They deserve those 2 games at Ford Field. They deserve to go to New Orleans. What this fan base has been through. You know, we always hear about, the poor Chicago Cubs fans, the poor Boston Red Sox fans. None of them went through what Detroit Lion fans went through. So, like I said, these people deserve this.
That's right.
Man, I'm feeling fired up, brother. The nervous energy has kind of turned into, you know what? I need the war paint on my face. I need the war chant. And I'm ready to go.
I need one
One
favor.
pride for it down the field.
Hey, Broham, I need one favor from you.
Yeah.
Do not go on the field and trash talk the
Kool-Aid,
coach.
Kool-Aid,
Promise me you
behave
won't
You're
do
not the
that.
real coach of the year.
Kool-Aid, you behave tonight, Kool-Aid.
I can't get kicked out, man. My career's just started, bro.
They'll kick you out,
And
man.
thank you for everything you've
Okay.
done for not just me, but a lot of us here, brother.
I'm just trying to be a contributor.
Hey,
Happy to be part of the process.
I had a boy. I got to head downtown, my friends.
let's go. Woodward and Maine.
All right.
Let's go, Lions. Like the chat. We love you, Matthew Broder.
All right, boys.
The bad boys from the NFL are here. Your 2024 Detroit Lions are the hardest
We love you,
hitting,
Chad,
highest
fam. Y'all are the
flying,
best.
trickiest playing, grittiest team in the NFL.
A dominant team.
Get all your coverage of your favorite team right here in your favorite network. Woodward Sports.